Here's a story that might make you think. It's about a man who never regretted anything he did in his life except for one thing. He regretted not killing one man. Here's the story of Mafia, a Don's regret. Our story begins in the early 20th century. Back then, there was a very powerful Mafia family in New York. The head of the family was a man called Don Corleone. Don Corleone wasn't just any Mafia boss. He was feared throughout the city. People would tremble at the mere mention of his name. He had earned this reputation because of the sheer number of people he had killed over the years. One day, Don Corleone was sitting in his office when he got a call from one of his underbosses. The underboss told him they needed to meet immediately. "I have something very important to discuss with you," he said. Don Corleone agreed, and both men met in a small, secluded room. As soon as they were inside, the underboss spoke. "We need to talk about another family," he said. "The Tattaglia family. They want to make a move on us." The Don was surprised. "Why? What makes you think they want to attack us?" he asked. The underboss shook his head. "It's not what I think. It's what I know. Their capo, Salazzo, has been meeting with Police Captain Marcucci. They plan to buy out 2 of our men and use them as inside men. We don't know their plan yet, but it has to do with hijacking a shipment of narcotics." Don Corleone nodded slowly. He knew Salazzo well. The capo of the rival family was ambitious, but he had always stayed within the limits. He had never crossed the line. That was why the Don was surprised to hear he had betrayed them. "How bad is this threat?" he asked. The underboss shrugged. "Could be very bad, but it can also be nothing. You see, we can't be sure if it's true or not until we catch the rats." The Don thought for a moment, then he turned to his underboss. "Get me Michael. I want to see him today." The underboss nodded and left the room. In less than an hour, Michael arrived. He was the youngest son of the Don, and though he tried to stay out of the family business, he was often pulled in. "I need you to do something for me," the Don said to him. Michael nodded. "Anything you ask." Don Corleone looked at his youngest son. He knew Michael was afraid of the Mafia lifestyle, so he wanted to keep this as simple as possible. "I need you to get rid of Salazzo and the police captain. Do that and I won't bother you again. You can leave this life behind for good." Michael was shocked. This wasn't a simple errand. These men were high-ranking members of their society. To kill them would be an act of war. But he couldn't refuse his father. Later that night, Michael met with Bonacera. He was a capo in the family, and one of the most ruthless men Don Corleone had ever seen. "Bonacera, we need to take out Salazzo and Captain Marcucci," he said. Bonacera raised an eyebrow. "You sure about this? If we strike first, this could start a gang war." Michael shook his head. "My father wants this done discreetly." "Can you handle it?" Bonacera nodded. "Of course, I'll take care of it right away." And with that, Bonacera left. Within 2 days, both men were dead. Salazzo had been shot in front of his wife and kids. Captain Marcucci had been drowned in a nearby lake. Michael had done as he was asked, but secretly he was glad to be rid of such a heavy burden. In the following months, the families remained quiet. There was no retaliation, no acts of violence. It seemed like everything was fine. But then one day, Don Corleone called Michael into his office. "You did a good job taking out those 2 men," he said. Michael was surprised. "You didn't have to tell me that." "I assumed you knew I did it," the Don chuckled. "That doesn't matter. What matters is that I'm proud of you. I was right to trust you with that task." Michael felt a wave of relief. All this time he had been worried his father would find out he had taken the lives of 2 innocent men. To hear him say those words was a huge weight off his shoulders. "Thank you, Father," he whispered. But the Don wasn't finished yet. "I've decided to retire," he said. "I'm giving you my seat at the head table." Michael froze. "What? No, I don't want that. I want to live a normal life. Please don't force this on me." Don shook his head. "Hey, this isn't something you get to choose, Michael. It's in your blood. Besides, I trust you more than anyone else. You won't let me down, I promise." And so Michael became the new Don. His authority over the family was absolute. He could make anyone an offer they couldn't refuse. He could send anyone to an early grave. And for a while, he enjoyed this power. But after some time, he grew tired of it. He was haunted by nightmares of the men he had killed. Their faces would appear in his dreams, accusing him of taking their lives. And as time went on, these dreams grew stronger. That's when Michael decided to leave the Mafia. He He gave up his power, his wealth, and his luxurious lifestyle. He moved to a small town where he bought a modest house and started a new life. For a while, he was happy. He didn't have to worry about betrayals or murders. He didn't have to make anyone an offer they couldn't refuse. But as the years passed, his old life caught up with him. Former associates came knocking, asking for money or protection. Rivals paid him visits, demanding he return to his former glory. But Michael refused to listen. He had made his decision. He didn't want anything to do with the Mafia anymore. That's when his former underboss paid him a visit. He was now a capo in the family, and he was furious at Michael for abandoning them. "Oh, you used to be one of us," he snarled. "You should never have left. Now look at you. You're nothing but a shadow of your former self." Michael stood up. "I'm done with that life, Bonacera. Don't want any part of it anymore." The capo laughed. "Oh, so you think you can just walk away?" "You're wrong, Michael. You'll never escape the Mafia. It's in your blood. It's who you are." With that, he turned and left. Michael watched him go, feeling a deep sense of foreboding. He knew his former underboss was right. He could never escape the Mafia. It was in his blood. And that's when he had his epiphany. He realized what he had done all those years ago was not wrong. Killing Salazzo and the police captain had been necessary. It had protected his family. It had kept his father safe. He went to see his father, who was now very old and frail. He told him everything, how he had left the family, how he had struggled to escape his past, and how he had finally come to terms with it. The Don listened patiently, a sad smile on his face. "I knew you'd come around," he said, when Michael was finished. "I always knew you'd come back to us." Michael shook his head. "No, you never regretted your actions, did you, father?" The Don was confused. "What are you talking about?" Michael looked him in the eye. "You never regretted killing those two men, did you? Only regretted not killing more." The Don stared back at him, his face unreadable, and he slowly nodded. "You're right, Michael. I never regretted my actions. Not once. I only regretted not killing more." With that, Michael knew he had come home. He had found his place in the family. And though he knew there would be times when he would have to make difficult choices, he was ready. He was a Corleone. And as his father had taught him, he could make anyone an offer they couldn't refuse. That's all for the day. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe. Until next time.